Good morning. We are out and about in the garden. It is September. It feels like September. I don't know if you can see it, but a little bit of mistiness going on there, as Winnie the Pooh would call it. Seeing your breathing weather. Jumpers are back on. Still keeping the back door open because of the dogs. So jumpers and socks and slippers are coming back out of the cupboard, which they haven't done for months. I hope you are all well. Thank you for watching, and let's have a look around the garden. So there's still quite a few things that we are able to harvest, and some things that are definitely have finished down for the year. So let's take a look. So we have got all in here the potato plants. Now these ones here have not been emptied yet. The potato plants have been cut back but have not been emptied. However, this one and this one we did actually empty of potatoes. Had some other potatoes that had sprouted, so thought, do you know what, let's plant them, give them a go and see what happens. So these were planted about 2 weeks ago, and you can see they're really flourishing, so hopefully we'll get some winter potatoes. These were planted about a week ago, and you can see they've started to sprout, so they need covering up, so I've got some spare soil to cover them up. Over here, past the dogs, our herbs are just finishing off, so I definitely need to dry these out. So I'm going to be picking a lot of these and some bay leaves and using those and drying them out. Strawberries are completely finished. These just need to be maintained over the winter. Into the main part of the garden now. If you've watched previous videos, you noticed that there were some See, Chris has been calling all the tomatoes strawberries, and now he's got me doing it. The tomato plants around here are pretty much finished off. We've pulled a couple of them out. We've just got a few on that back one that are going. This bed here, if you remember from the previous video, was like Day of the Triffids. It was mental. Now, I did have leeks and onions in the same bed, but I've not been able to do anything with them because they were just so overshadowed with tomatoes. So instead of onions, I think we're going to call these pickles instead. And I think they're still going to be perfectly usable. But yes, they are very, very tiny. The leeks, more like spring onions. Carrots have done brilliantly. Really, really pleased with these. Thinking of making some carrot top pesto to go in the freezer. Beetroots are looking amazing. I'm going to start pulling these up soon. Probably going to make some beetroot chutney and roast some and pop them in the freezer, and we'll probably save some of these for Christmas dinner, and probably some of the carrots as well. So pre-roast them, cool them, put them in the freezer, and just reheat them on Christmas morning. Over here, say good morning, Tinkerbell. She's been out for a walk, that's why she's looking a bit soggy. So over here we've still got some tomato plants that are still producing, some finishing off. This lettuce was quite successful, partnering it with the tomato plants. I think I'll do that again. So all these just need finishing off, picking the last remnants of these tomatoes, which have given us such an abundant crop this year. I've said so many. I'll put a link below to some of the tomato recipes that I've done. Just on the barbecue, let's say hi to Smarty. This is one of his favourite spots because it's nice and warm. Say hello. Over to the main beds that are around the garden. The blackcurrant did amazing. Raspberry, not so good this year. Blackberries on the back fence have been quite productive. Rhubarb's gone mental. This is it's like it's its second coming. So we had it, we cut it right back, and it's all flourished back up again. So we've got so much rhubarb still in here, and really healthy looking stems. So still got to find something to do with those. Blueberries I kind of forgot about, and most went to the birds. I did end up with probably a couple of punnets worth, but not too bad. Gooseberries were all finished really early. Apples are amazingly productive this year. So many apples. I've probably harvested about 20 of these already and made some apple pie filling that's gone into some jars for storage. Cherry tree was all finished with about a month or so ago. These potato plants that were our stray potatoes, we're just going to leave and we'll dig up when we need some potatoes. We did dig up the ones out of this corner and they were quite productive. Final bed, this was the bed that had the lettuce and spinach crops in and some tomatoes again. A couple of stray potato plants at this end, so they still need to be dug up. Now what I've learnt is instead of pulling up the plants, I'm just cutting them off at the base and just letting them die back. This is the no dig method that people have been hearing about and people have been using. So if there's no digging involved, that's all the better for me. So that's basically where we're up to in the garden. There's not much happening now. It's all finishing off, end of season things. However, there are a couple of beds there that are going to be emptied. If you can think of anything I can plant for the winter that's been really successful, if you're around the northwest region of the UK and you plant something, because I know that there's meant to be different gardening zones. I'm pretty much an amateur. I throw things in the ground and hope for the best. That's my method of gardening. It seems to work quite well for certain things that I can grow. I seem to each year have like a particular crop that does amazingly well. The beetroots and carrots have always been successful. This year it was tomatoes. Last year it was lettuce. The year before we had a good tomato crop. We seem to be sporadic with the tomatoes. Last year's tomato crop was absolutely rubbish. We barely got anything off it. So I'm glad this year we've been able to can up and bottle lots and lots of tomatoes for use throughout the winter and hopefully into next year. So that's where we're up to in the garden. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.